guys, we are filming.
Oh, like,
Alright.
like she's taking.
Oh, I can't see Jack's be proud.
Here we go, we'll start.
Yeah. Oh my God! Wait, what is this? I'm going down
Sit
the
down.
and it's reversed.
reverse.
Sit down.
At least you can see the
You
rainbow.
have to sit.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there. You want to
Wait,
sit
is it
somewhere else.
recording?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're recording. Hello everyone and welcome to Jack Morton Worldwide's first ever Pride Month.
Oh.
Today we're here with our Jacks Be Proud, going through a little panel of how it's like to be a part of the LGBTQT family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. So first we'll go around and have everyone introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their background, their interests, how they identify themselves, and anything else that they're interested in sharing with our group here. So we'll start with my right, Emily McKnight.
Hi, I am Emily, and I am a senior strategy coordinator at Jack Morton. And I am engaged to a woman named Allison Tong, and I identify as bisexual. And I'm from Kansas City, Missouri originally, and went to school at American University in DC, and love hanging out in the Bay Area, great for camping, and eating at great restaurants.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
Welcome to today's panel.
Thank you.
And next is Andy. Oh no, I'm going to
So-
cheers all of you individually for being a
Oh,
part of this fantastic.
So my name is Andy. I work at Jack Morton. I don't know my official title yet, but kind of just do everything. I
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all
let's say.
trades. Yes. I am from San Francisco. I'm from San Francisco. I went to Catholic school all my life, and I don't know what else I can say about me. I'm single. I've been single for 9.5 years.
And you identify
As gay.
perfect.
Yeah.
Just the way I like
Yeah.
it. Well, cheers, Andy. Thanks,
Yeah.
and welcome to our panel today.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm MJ. I work for Jack Morton as a contractor as well. I'm kind of like Andy, where I do a little bit of everything. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. Went to college at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore at MIT. And I have lots of interests, and we can talk about that later. And I identify as lesbian and queer.
Well, welcome, MJ. We're so
MJ.
excited to have you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Hi, my name is Eric Heckmeyer. I am a production manager here at Jack Morton. I've been here just over a year, actually. And I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, about an hour east of here in a small town, Brentwood. But been living in the San Francisco area for now over about 8 years. I identify as gay, and I have been with my current partner for over 7.5 years. We're registered domestic partners. We have our own little dog,
Oh,
and
Riley.
and I'm just happy to be here with a great and supportive team.
Fantastic, Eric. Welcome and thank you.
Cheers.
And last, I'll introduce myself. I'm Donna Hale. I'm a senior production coordinator here at Jack Morton. I identify as straight. I've been with my partner Evan for over 5 years. We were actually high school sweethearts. We too have a puppy named Wally. Some of my interests are fashion and mostly fashion sports. I like to read. I'm a DIYer all the time. I love to get my craft on. And I eat a crap ton of amazing food living in San Francisco. I grew up in the East Bay, went to college in Northern California, a small, tiny town called Chico. And I've been here for 2.5 years.
All right.
Did
So
you leave out the
excited.
blogging and the fashion? And
I
the,
said fashion.
Yeah.
I
She said it twice.
I said it twice.
Can we cheers you then?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
here,
you.
Donna. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. I'm so excited to support you guys in your personal lives, especially in your relationships. It's great that our Jack Morton can really get behind us on this. I think it's really important that organizations are open and welcoming to that, so I'm glad to be a part of that on both sides. So
Thank you.
let's get started. So I think our first question, and we'll just get it started with everyone, is how did you come out to friends and family? What was the process like? How was it? Easy, difficult, at what age? And kind of what made you decide to come out to your friends and family? Whoever wants to go first.
I have a funny story about
Okay.
what happened.
Yeah.
So I came out when I was 15, but before that, my parents found some interesting pictures on our computer of other men, and so they started questioning me about my sexuality. And at first, I said no, and then I eventually came out as bisexual, and now I kind of just know I'm gay. But I slowly came out to friends in high school. It was really tough because I went to a Catholic school. And I lost a lot of friends, and it's one of the reasons why I left, and I actually transferred to public school when I was in junior year.
Of high school.
Oh, high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was challenging. I do have some my dad was not supportive, still isn't. I do have family members that are, very into religion and stuff like that, but they always tell me that they're not ones to judge, so I feel kind of okay with that, but I always kind of feel that there's a little bit of non-acceptance there because of the religion part, but that's kind of where I'm at with my family. But I have a lot of really good people in my family who are very supportive, like my mom and stuff. So
Something that you asked that I'm interested in kind of learning is, you said you first came out as bisexual.
yeah,
Is that something that a lot of people in your community first go to because it's like a comforting place to say, I'm, inquisitive? Yeah, is it like a step, and then you identify as one or the other? Okay.
but I was
Unless you're a 2-year-old.
right. But I find though that then skews the reality that there are bisexual people in the world, and people think you're either gay or straight, and that bisexuality is just a kind of bridge to go over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only problem with people when they do that. Like my mom, my aunt is a bisexual, and she's been with women for many years and been with men for many years, and I can say that the people who are bisexual do exist.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, because that's the only thing that's a little bit difficult about being bisexual in the community is that it is, like, almost every story I know is of somebody coming at us saying I'm bi first. 'Cause,
right,
it seems like you're going to be judged less. And then you always hear like, oh, that's not going to last long. He's going to say he's gay.
even within the community, people are like, oh, you're gay. Oh, you're,
Yeah.
you're, even within. Yeah, so it's kind of
Or, if you're bi and you're with a woman, they're like, no, you're just gay because you're with a woman.
Right.
Or if you're bi and with a guy, you're just straight and you like to say that you're interested in women because men find it attractive or something.
right.
So that's can be difficult, but I think that with the acceptance of same-sex marriage and transgender people and just queer people, I feel like we're getting a lot more accepting. So I feel that less. Mm-hmm.
What about you, MJ?
I came out a little after I finished my undergrad, and I grew up I'm the only girl out of there's a total of 4 of us, and I come from a Filipino-Irish family. So it's super Catholic, super unaccepting, and it was a difficult process. To this day, things are getting better, like communication has been a lot more open between my family and I since I've been on my own, and it's a total blessing because we actually get along now and stuff. But we just have to have that 3,000 miles distance from us to get along, unfortunately. But that's where I'm at.
And you mentioned where you grew up.
Washington D.C. Washington D.C.
What was it like growing up in D.C.? Is it
Oh boy.
different than being here in the Bay Area?
Definitely, it's changed now. But growing up, it was very shameful to be gay. Like, I didn't even know what to call it. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like 16 when I had my first girlfriend, and we were best friends. Because I didn't know what to call it. Like,
Right.
no one talked about it. There was so much shame around it,
Okay.
and it was just awkward.
And how old were you when you came out?
21. I was 21, 22.
Oh. I'm the oldest of the group, so it's been a while since I've come out. But growing up, all through high school, I grew up in a town that was 6,000 to 8,000 people. So everybody knew everybody. I remember growing up, the first stoplight, the first fast food restaurant. I mean, it was that small of a
Yeah.
town that
Still is.
you knew anything about everybody. So growing up, there was always a lot of negative, things people didn't get bullied. Not very many people would even be out. No one ever even would have talked about it. So in high school was kind of the first real experience of seeing somebody who was out, and just the amount of negative things that used to just happen to this person just scared the hell out of me. I mean, I knew by high school that I was gay, but having experienced and watched what this other person went through, it was just kind of like there was just absolutely no way that I would come out at that age. So, I mean, it's just something that I suppressed until, you know, about my second year out of high school and living on my own, and, you know, I found my first boyfriend, and then that's at that point when I decided that I was going to come out. So when I finally came out to my parents, who were the first two people I told, you know, it was, you know, I stopped talking to my mom for like 2 months, and then finally I called her and I said, listen, I need to talk to you about something. And she's like, well, yeah, okay. So I got there, and she's like, are you sick? Are you dying? Are you in trouble with the law? And I'm like, no. She's like, are you gay? And I'm like, bingo. She's like, oh God, all right, but no problem. She's like, no, let me go get your dad, because he's wondering what's going on. And I'm like, no, I wasn't ready. She's like, no, we got to tell him. So it was a pleasant experience. And then I know that the one person that we held off telling was my older brother, just because he was in the military at the time. We weren't sure how he would react, and he, up until that point, was one of those type of people that, you know, they used to say things and, you know, just jokingly say things, and it's like he didn't really care about it. But I just know that as soon as I told him, his whole demeanor, like how he talked about it, what he would say, how he felt, he's like, I had no idea that this could potentially be a problem. He's like, I am completely sorry, and he's like, I want you to know that's not exactly how I feel. So, sorry, long story, but I just know that, you know, you experience a broad range of different feelings from different people as you start to coming out to them. And I just, even within my own family, like, everybody was cool, and then there were some that we held off on telling and stuff like that. So, overall, I have a good story. It's, you know, one of those kind of loving, accepting families. So I feel blessed in that sense, and I can really sympathize for people that did not have that experience. So
Yeah, it makes me kind of wonder, like, the experience of feeling the rejection of your entire family. I just can't feel or understand that. Like, I don't know if I could, if I didn't have my family, I don't know, like, what I would be at right now, you know?
Yeah, like people getting kicked out of their houses.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Especially for like the youth and stuff like that have no options or no resources. That is a scary thing.
Yeah.
I think that camera stopped.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it was.
My experience of coming out, even though,
Wait until
okay, go. So my experience of coming out, even though I'm straight, is my best friend Anthony in high school is gay. And I remember he called me one day when we were in college at this point and said, you know, I really need to talk to you about something. I'm terrified to do it. And I said, okay, well, what's up? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm gay. And my response, and I hope you guys don't take any offense to it, was no shit. Like, I'd always known, like, my dad is very strict and I was never allowed to have boys in my bedroom or anything. But Gooby, that's how I call him, is Gooby. It was always allowed in my bedroom. Like, we would lay out in the backyard and thongs together, and I was like, at what point did you not think that I knew that you were gay when you're in my bedroom all the time? And my dad never cared. And so when I told my dad that Gooby had come out to me, he goes, well, duh, that's why he always hang out with you. You guys shopped and did that. So for him, I think it was comical. He did mention to me, like, I would really appreciate that you made me laugh about it, because you were one of the first that I, you know, called and said that to. Because I think he knew that I knew already, so he was comfortable saying it without me, like, then diving into all the questions. And so that was my first and only experience of someone coming out to me, but it was positive. I've always been supportive, and him and I still laugh about it, because I think it's hilarious that he was so, like, worked up about telling me, and I was like, duh, like, we've known this for a really long time. I thought you and I were on the same page about it.
But as you can see, there's a reoccurring theme that no matter the situation, the experience of coming out is terrifying.
Terrifying.
It is.
No matter whether or not you feel like the person's going to support you or not, it's going to be okay. It's still a terrifying.
I could not even imagine having a secret and then having to like expose it and asking everyone to be open and fine with it, you know. And so I always try and remind him that, you know, it's your friends and family are the ones that will love you always, and
That's not always true.
But I know, and that's the lesson
Yeah.
I've been learning with him is that, you know, he didn't have the best experience with other family members, like you were mentioning, and MJ mentioned as well. So I think for myself, that's been a reoccurring lesson that I've been learning, that it is a difficult reality that people don't have that supportive, you know, outlet that you should have no matter what. So it's been insightful learning for me as well. So then the next question we had was, you know, what is a typical question that you guys get asked by straight people? People are very interested in learning more about your community. Is there common questions that you guys get asked more frequently than not?
I mean, being a guy, I always get the question, who's the man, who's the woman? Which is really annoying.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no woman in two guy relationship, it's two men, right? And so I guess they're trying to frame like, okay, well, if a guy and a girl does this, so then who takes the role? You know, I guess people try to frame it in what they're used to, but it's not about man and female. It's about the two people coming together.
Partnership.
So
Partnership and gender fluidity.
Yeah.
One thing, alright, so I used to be in sorority back in college. I don't want to
What?
mention what sorority it was, okay? But,
We could be sisters.
I know, maybe. But, so, like, my sisters, when I came out after college, would always ask me if I had a crush on them. And that was, like, the most annoying question, because I was just like, no, you're hot and you're fly, but, like, you're, like, my sister. Like, no, but that's, like, something I've always gotten, like, asked, like, in the workplace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hella random. Just
I think a lot of
did you ever have a crush on me?
I think a lot of straight guys feel the same way. Like I have friends that they assume that because I'm gay that I'm attracted to them.
Right.
It's like
To every.
to every single guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Right. Yeah, I always respond to that with, are you attracted to every guy or to every girl? Because I'm not. I know that there are quite a few people
Right.
that I'm not attracted to.
Yeah.
No offense.
How about you?
No, I think that's actually,
Sorry.
those are very typical questions that I get asked, and they used to bug me, but it's so commonplace now that I don't even, I just laugh at people when they do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're educating a lot? Like, I think that's something for me is like I ask questions out of curiosity and just wanting to learn. But do you ever feel like that's something that you don't want to do? It's like, I don't want to educate you. I'm not Wikipedia. Like, you know, Google it. Is that something that you guys find that people are genuinely interested, or is that not really a situation you guys
I
face?
find myself educating a lot just because, like, in Oakland where I do live, I've had conversations with Emily about how I'm active in the community out there, and I do things with the youth as well. A lot dealing with gender, a lot with the trans community, because a lot of my best friends are actually transgendered,
Okay.
and so I consider myself a book of knowledge. If anyone does have any questions to ask me, like I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of activism dealing with gender identity in terms of coming out with, you know, and being in the LGBTQ community. So I don't mind being an educator.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's better when people ask you questions and they're curious as opposed to when other people who are just really negative and don't want to hear anything, because then, you know, they're kind of closed off. But when people are open-minded and ask questions, I think that's the best way to go about it, because then they know more, they can treat other people better, hopefully, and it's kind of fun to talk about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Talk about your own personal things.
Andy, Eric, you guys educators in your community?
I try to be. I mean, I had to recently educate my mom on certain things about, you know, gay relationships. But, you know, I think it's, I always try to tell people the way things are and not to follow what is said in ignorance. So I try to do as much as I can.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just relating to my family, this question. My family, I mean, where we grow up, we're all in the Bay Area. They're all pretty well-versed. And my sister and my brother have kids, and they've done a very good job at raising them and, you know, teaching them balance and keeping them kind of, you know, just teaching them right. I mean, giving them just moral values and accepting everybody and stuff like that. I thought that at one point that my nephews, who are, one of them just graduated high school, and one is, starting junior high, I had always thought that there would be a day that they would come to me to ask me questions, or be like, so how does it work for you, Uncle? And I'm like, they have never one day come to me to ask me questions or anything. They've just always treated me as normal, which, is kind of a blessing. So I'm always there if they want to ask questions, and kind of hope that there would be one day, but they just seem to not. It's normal. They don't need. There's nothing that they need to know or want to know.
Yeah.
I love my experience coming out to my sister because when I came out to my family, my mom told me that bad things would happen if I told my sister, and she was 10 at the time. So I did not. I was scared, so I didn't tell her. And then I waited until she was 13, and I was home from college break, and we were about to play a game, and I brought her into my bedroom, and I was like, Caroline, I need to tell you something. Allie, she's not my friend, she's my girlfriend. And Caroline just said, okay, do you want to go play life now? And then she runs back in and she says, does Mom know? Does Dad know? Does Becca know? Okay. Why am I always the last to know? So she was amazing. And I think that's really something that is a big difference in terms of generations, is that young people are really educated, really open and accepting. And
For the most part.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part. I mean, there are some people that are not, but
it is like.
But it's definitely a big change from our last generation to
Right.
our generation that's now. So.
Eric said something, mentioned, we all are in the Bay Area. So outside of your experiences here, when you're out on the road traveling, because our work does that, or you're just visiting friends from other places, do you feel like you're as accepted in other, demographics and other geography areas rather than just here? Because Bay Area is very open-minded, and we are very open to it, even though, probably here hasn't been. But outside of where we're at, do you feel like you have that same sense of, comfort when you're not here in the Bay Area where it's very accepted?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've not even just with, homosexuality, but just even with race and ethnicity, just you go to other places and it's night and day.
You've gone back 50 years.
Right.
And, that you do kind of, as soon as I know I'm leaving, depending on where I'm going, I do kind of put up
Your wall.
my walls and say, hey, I'm not going to, not that it's an issue, but it's just, I'm not, it's not the same comfort zone, yeah.
Wow.
I have a funny story about that, actually. I was in India earlier this year with my girlfriend at the time, and it was hilarious because we were by the Ganges River, and we were walking, and there's people trying to peddle stuff to us, and there's this guy that was walking next to us, and he was just trying to have small talk and sell us a ride on his boat or something like that. And he was just like, where are you from? Where are you from? And we were like, America. He was, okay, America, America. Nice, nice. He was saying everything, repeating everything, right? And then he was like, where in America? And we're like, California. And he was like, oh, no wonder you guys look like eunuchs. You guys know what eunuchs are? Eunuchs are kind of like hermaphrodites or whatever. And that was his way, and that's the way that they were educated to view queer people. And then he pieced it, California being the most radical place for homosexuals and LGBT community folks. And I just thought it was really interesting to see how people view it in different places. And then last night I actually met a tourist from Germany, and she said the same thing. She was just like, yeah, I don't understand why here in America it's so difficult, why you mix politics with religion. Because in Germany it's accepted, and what you can believe in God and still be homosexual and not have any shade thrown on you. But it's so different here.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really, really interesting, seeing someone's point of view from South Asia and then someone in Europe, and then how we live our lives here is completely different. And I just thought that was very interesting.
And I've also heard people that come and visit, and they're just like, whoa. And I'm just like, yeah, every day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was planning, Allie and I have been planning the honeymoon. and you can't always go to places you might want to go because homosexuality is still illegal in 69 countries. And 69, yeah.
In general, that was like a part of your thought process.
Oh yes,
right.
You know, because I would love to go to Egypt. I would love to do archaeology digs there. I did some in England, and but it's still, you know, it's not necessarily the safest place.
Right.
And especially for your honeymoon, where you want to like, you know,
Relax.
be loving
Yeah.
and just be comfortable. So that was kind of hard having to plan around that.
And where did you decide?
We are going to Vietnam and Cambodia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Any experience there?
I mean, you know, I could say like I've experienced, you know, negative in California.
Right.
When I went to Long Beach Pride, and me and my friends had been called faggots a couple of times, you know, in LA area where you think it would be, you know, as accepting, but you know, it's kind of, even going to LA, Orange County and stuff, it's not the same as, you know, the Bay Area. So,
Is San Francisco the biggest LGBTQ community? 'Cause
no,
I thought
not
it
the
was
biggest
Atlanta.
community. It's more the staple of where the kind of
A lot of the radical changes.
changes have happened.
Okay.
So there's
Wow.
other there's other cities that have a lot of gay people in there.
Yeah, I know Portland is getting high up on the list now.
San Francisco has the highest percentage of gay men, and Oakland has the highest percentage of gay women.
Wow.
So we actually, Bay Area does have more gay people than
Yeah.
a lot of
Per
other
capita.
places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So one of the other questions we had was if you guys have had any, you know, observations of challenges regarding your environment, like your workplace, because, you know, you are a part of this community. Do you guys face that outside of your social settings? Because we've talked about families and the challenges you've had there, but and we've talked about geography, but within like your communities and in terms of just lifestyle choices, like your outside activities, do you find that people have turned away from you once they've learned about, you know, your decisions and how you've communicated that out to them? Because I know you're on the softball team.
Yes.
So is that something that is open to that community, your softball community?
Yes. Well, I know softball. I did not play softball when I was in high school. Softball is very gay for women. And I actually played rugby in college. That's where I met Allie, which is very stereotypical. And our softball team is super supportive. It's through her work, so
okay.
everyone there is really cool. I did have an experience where I was at a job and they told me not to tell anyone because they didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, and they didn't want people getting upset about it, which was a little difficult because then, you know, it put me in that same situation. And
Which
That's
job?
weird.
Which job was this?
I don't know if I should say.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
not.
Okay.
Clearly not here.
Clearly not
It's
here.
not here.
Clearly not Jack Morton, because we're very
Yeah.
open to it. But
Mhm.
and Andy, do you have any other?
Well, I actually had my mom tell me, don't tell anyone when I was in, and I was like, I'm not going to live like that. I'm not going to live in the closet like I was, you know, for 15 years. So, and I'm, you know, I'm not one that's like going to paint them across the wall, but, you know, I'm not going to hide who I am,
Right.
you know, and I've been in companies where I, you know, was Republican, you know, or anything that's like tends to be less accepting of gays, type of company, and I still, you know, was trying to be who I was, but didn't want to
Ruffle too many feathers.
ruffle too many feathers. Yeah. So I mean, I have been in situations where I wasn't very uncomfortable, or the token gay guy of the company, you know. So.
Yeah, like when I was still living in the East Coast, like in the DC area, primarily, if you're going to have a really good job, it's going to be a government support contracting job. So I was working for a big company back there, and like it was totally homophobic because it was military. We were a military support contractor working for doing NAVSEA, so like we were actually working with missiles for the Navy, and it was just like, don't talk about it, like your sexuality. My boss would always just tell me that it was like taboo. And over
So they would
here-
outright come to you. But had
Yeah.
you already disclosed to them that you?
It was because we had mutual friends outside of the community,
Okay.
and like they were actually gay as well, and they were just like, you know, just a heads up, you know, I don't want you to have to go through anything. So
Here's the
just
status quo.
keep it on the low.
Toe the company line.
So that was my experience in the East Coast. But here, I've been lucky enough to have jobs in San Francisco that have been like really open. Like my last job, my senior vice president of culinary and operations was actually a lesbian from New York. And it was awesome because like she came out to me first and she was like, I know your family, it's all good, you know, I'm totally understanding, blah, blah, blah. And then coming to Jack Morton, it's just like, it's been an amazing fit just to be me and not have to worry about anything, not have to worry about if anyone thinks I'm checking them out, because I'm not, because like, I like coming to work because it feels like a sense of family with this company in particular, and I just have the freedom to express myself the way I want and still be successful, so it's kind of awesome.
Are you in any outside communities other than work functions?
I mean, nothing in particular,
No.
but I would say in general that companies that I've worked for in the Bay Area have, it's been a very good experience. I know that when I worked in Sacramento for a couple of different places, it was night and day.
Right.
In terms of experience and like what people talked about, what they didn't talk about. I know that when I lived there that it was okay to talk about religion and all of these other things, but you know, race, you know, and sexuality was definitely off the table. It was like very taboo and stuff like that. And whether or not it was acknowledged or not, it was just you didn't talk about it.
Interesting. And so what are you guys proud of?
Well, I think, as MJ said, we are very proud of Jack Morton and IPG. I did not know that IPG was 100% rating on the Corporate Equality Index, which basically means that we support the same-sex people get the same benefits as straight couples, and they won't fire you for being gay or transgendered, and we actually, IPG will pay for transition surgeries, which is amazing. And that is just so supportive, and the fact that we are, you know, doing this initiative of supporting the gay community and educating people is amazing. It's wonderful.
Andy?
I have to agree. Everything she said. But I'm also proud of, I guess, just family members that were there and stuck around and understood my situation. Yeah, I'm just proud. There's a lot of good people in the world that are actually on our side, helping our cause. So
Do you feel like you guys are on sides?
I do.
I do. Yeah.
I think in terms of sides, it's people who are homophobic. Like, it's not necessarily straight versus gay,
No,
but
yeah.
more like homophobic versus
Closed versus open.
closed versus open.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm proud of all of us here, including our lovely ally who is supporting us. Yeah, I'm proud of the progress that I've made to not let all the bullying from my family get me down, and I can still be out here 3,000 miles away from them, and I'm taking pretty damn good care of myself. You know, so that feels good. I'm proud of that, and I'm proud to be queer and gay and doing this in the community and at work and stuff. So.
I'll second that. I mean, just to elaborate, I mean, for me, I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of the support that I've surrounded myself with and maintain, and I'm proud to have my partner now for over 7 years, and you know, we've been through all the normal relationship woes, just like any other, yeah, exactly, challenges
Yes.
that all relationships go through, and you know, it's not easy, but it's.
I think that's a great point that you make. Whether you're in a lesbian relationship, a straight relationship, or a gay relationship, we all three of us, and you two as well, you know, are going to go through those same challenges. They're not going to pick up their stuff off the floor. That's going to be irritating. Someone doesn't pay their bills on time. You know,
Yeah.
regardless of how you identify, we're all going to go through those same, you know, ups and downs with our partners, our life partners. And I think
Right.
that's definitely a message that I always try to remember, that it's not just defined by how you have identified yourself, that this is something that it's a human race problem. People are trying to blend lives together, and so I think that's a really valid point that you just made. That
I mean, if I sum it up, I'm proud of just trying to live a normal life.
right.
And I don't like to use that word normal life just
Yeah.
because, you know,
What is normal?
what's normal,
Right.
what's traditional. I mean, there really shouldn't be any definition of what is
Yeah.
a normal traditional relationship. And
I think we're redefining.
even within the gay community, we really shouldn't be trying to define what is a normal, you know, relationship
Okay.
and trying to assimilate to what that is. We should just be saying, hey, you know what? We make our relationship work. We're happy. We love each other. We take care of each other. You know, we're not the 2 kids, a dog,
Mhm.
3-bedroom house.
But
you
that's
know.
your definition of normal.
No, I'm just saying there shouldn't really
no,
be
I'm
a
saying
definition. Yeah.
your relationship is your own definition of normal. You know, like what
Yes,
your relationship
absolutely.
is. That's
Yeah.
your normal. That's my
Yes.
normal, and I think that's something that, as just a race, we should all just be pushing that rather than saying normal is this, that, and the other. I think normal is what makes you happy and
Yeah.
pushes you to thrive. I'm proud of you guys allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you so much. I really, I'm an advocate for it. I think that we should all just be open and supportive to everyone, no matter what their decisions are. You know, race, sexuality, you know, life paths, careers. I think that it's something that we should be valid for all spectrums of life. So I'm proud that you guys took part in this. I know it's probably not the thing you had on top of your mind that you're going to be doing at work. And I'm proud that you guys asked me to be a part of it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, perfect.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
All right.
Yay!
I didn't
Blonde
do.
girl, 4 gays.
Hey, hey.
I got it.
I didn't do the Supreme Court one because I think people would have had their feathers ruffled a little.
Well, because
Going into the like